Good night to all. Good night to all. Please share this video for other service members out there. Hope you guys having a great night tonight. Please share these videos. Please share with other service members out there. Yes. Hey, good night again. This is a retired Command Sergeant Major Ed Centeno from Edson Consulting. You can find me at edsonconsultation.com, edsonconsultation.com. That is my website. You can send me a private message there. Like I always say, please make sure you put your name, phone number, and email so I can reach back to you. Share these videos. Do not forget also to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Edson Space Consultation. Edson Space Consultation. There you can find me and you can find all my videos there. What do? I do help with VA claims. I am not a BSO because I'm still working for the government, but I help with VA claims. I actually help to prepare them and actually help you so you can submit it. Okay, that's what I do. Recopilation of medical documentation, also to request your medical documents if you need them, and actually the best thing I can give you is advice and strategies. That's what I'm good at. So please share these videos. Another thing that I do is retirement consultation. Again, 27 years in the military, 25 years in the Army, and been working with the government for 27 years. This year actually is going to be 28 years, and I have a lot of experience. Also, I work in resume, especially for federal resumes. If you need any help in law enforcement especially, I can help you out also with your resume. Let me know so I can help you out with your resume. And also notary public. If you live in the Central Florida area, let me know. If you need any papers to be notarized, I can help you with that also. This information is not sponsored by any US government entity or affiliate of the military. This information is based completely on experience. This is a consultation business. That's what I do. I love to help people, and that's what I'm doing right now. So we're gonna have an interesting topic tonight. Before, again, if you wanna call me while I'm doing the live, I give a space at the end of the live, and you can call me at 321-710-5570. You can also send me a message before you call me so I can get ready and I can take your phone call. Okay, again, 321-710-5570. Gonna have an interesting topic tonight. We're gonna talk about 3 easy VA claims to build a strategy, okay? But when I'm gonna talk about these 3 VA claims, I also wanna talk about if you have any other claims in specific. I'm gonna talk about 3 tonight, but if you don't have these claims or you don't suffer of any of these conditions, do not worry. They don't have to be the same. And I'm gonna talk about strategies after I cover these easy 3 VA claims. What do I say they're easy? Because in my experience, most of the service members that I have helped, they suffer from these conditions. Okay, and I'm gonna explain to you what are they and how you can prove that you have these conditions and how you can have a strategy to start building your VA claims. And before I start with the conditions, when I talk about strategy, is every case is different and unique. You cannot use the same strategy that someone else use for your case. Every case is completely unique, and we need to understand that. A lot of people don't understand that, that every case is unique, and you must know how to work on your case. And that's what I can help you with your specific and unique claim that you're gonna submit. All right. So a good strategy will give you the edge to slowly get to achieve 100%. Probably you don't have many conditions that can get you to 100%. But at least if you have any conditions in special 3, I'm gonna talk about some of them tonight, you can actually start making a strategy to start bringing your percentages up. And that's what I'm here to do tonight. Many service members out there have many conditions that occur from exposure to the service and injuries incurred while on service. but they lack the knowledge on how to move forward. That's what I see when I'm helping service members are there. They don't have the knowledge, they don't have the drive and the energy to request your medical records. They don't have the drive or energy to actually to build a strategy, and that's what I can help you with. I can help you sit down, we can make a Zoom meeting, you can go to my website, you can find how to do it, set up an appointment, and actually I can help you out to build a strategy so you can start winning your VA claims and you can start earning your money, okay? Those are hard conditions, you know, that you serve your country, you deserve, you're entitled if you have enough evidence that you actually suffer for that condition. Again, 3 easy claims that you can use. I'm going to use my experience, and as prior discussed, every service member has a unique condition that requires a unique strategy. But the ones I'm going to cover tonight are tinnitus, sleep apnea, and PTSD. Again, tinnitus, sleep apnea, and PTSD. These 3 I'm pretty familiar with them. That's the reason I'm going to cover them. But if you have any other 3 conditions, you can also build a strategy based on what I'm going to talk about tonight. I have a video tinnitus. When I edit the YouTube video, I will put the link of that specific video so you can have better information about the tinnitus. Tinnitus is a great claim to start. I've seen many service members out there that have this condition. And this is the following symptoms, okay? Is ringing of the ears, buzzing, and hissing, okay? That's tinnitus. I mean, that's ringing of the ears, and it especially happens at night. A lot of you, I'm talking about from experience, we need some background noise to actually to block and actually to fall asleep. And that's what tinnitus is. But tinnitus is one of the easiest claims that you can submit. I can help you with that. And I'm gonna cover more so you know how tinnitus works and also how to submit a good claim for tinnitus. But it's a great claim to start your process, to start winning VA claims, to start bringing your percentage up, okay? A lot of service members experience extreme exposure to noise, okay? One big factor that can contribute to this condition of tinnitus is your job description. What do I mean with that? For the Army, that's called MOS, right? Your occupation. What do you do in the Army? Depend what service or branch of service. Hey, Crystal, hope you're doing well. God bless you. So you have to see if you actually, your specialty actually can give you the evidence that you have this condition. And I'm going to give you an example. If you serve in the infantry or artillery, or even a crew member working on the flight line, you actually are exposed to loud noises. What does that mean? That means that you're gonna start having this condition, which is the ringing of the ears. And I bring these factors that can contribute to your condition to link it to your job description, because your DD-214, like I explained on my last video, can help you to have evidence that you actually had that job while you serve in the military. And that's really important for you to understand. Your job description can better help you fight your claim and the condition, because you are exposed to noise. That's the reason I bring artillery infantry, because those jobs are actually constantly exposed to noise. I used to be in artillery. Every time you fire a cannon, that loud noise start deteriorating your hearing, and that's what I'm talking about. You need to build that evidence, and your job description can help you with that. That does not mean that you can have the condition and have another job on the service, especially if you went to combat. I talked about combat veterans, and also you can have this condition. The biggest thing for you is to prove that you were in combat. I talked about that on my last live. How do you justify? What evidence do you use to specify that you were in combat? And that will help you to actually to win this claim. Another valid evidence is any report that describes the exposure to noise, and this include incident reports or accident reports, especially you were in combat, awards or narratives of awards, and medical profiles. What do I say this? This is evidence that you can use to submit your claim. I can help with that also. You need to understand this. Like I explained last week, it's like a case. You have to build your case. You have to have evidence to prove that you have nexus to that condition because of the service. You can have the diagnosis of the condition, but if you don't have a nexus to the condition, it's going to be hard for you to get it approved. All right, so the next one is sleep apnea. Before I go to sleep apnea, it's good to know that the rating for tinnitus is no more than 10%, okay? That's usually what happens. Now you have hearing loss and tinnitus. Hey, brother Gomez, God bless you, my brother. Bendiciones. I do the first half in English and then the other one in Spanish, and I actually do a shorter version in Spanish. Hago una versión más pequeña de español cuando a mitad del programa. So it's so important for you to actually to have your evidence, okay? But tinnitus actually, or usually, it goes only to 10%. But if you have hearing loss, also can be combined. But what I've seen in my experience, they approve either or. I mean, it's hard to prove both. That's my experience. Okay, that's what I've seen. Sleep apnea. What is sleep apnea? It's a disorder in which breathing repeatedly stops and starts. That means that at night when you're sleeping or during the day, those that sleep during the day, you stop breathing completely, and then this stopping breathing at night or during the day, what it does is it sends a signal to your brain that you're not breathing and you wake up. What that does is when you get up, you feel really tired. You have no energy during the day. And the hardest thing about this condition is to actually to link it to the service. Because a lot of people have this condition, but in special, if you're going to prove it that you actually have it on the military, it's a little bit hard to prove. Not impossible, but sleep apnea is one of those conditions that is a little bit tricky for you to have that nexus to the service. What is the ratings of sleep apnea per 38 CFR? CFR is the code of the federal regulation that covers all claims, VA claims, and this specific one of sleep apnea is under code 6847, and these are the ratings, okay? And I'm gonna change my screen here in a second so you can see the ratings. But before I go there, these are the ratings. 0%, you're asymptomatic but have a documented sleep disorder. So that means that you have a sleep disorder, but it's not that bad. Just to say you have symptoms, okay? That's what asymptomatic means. 30%, you are experiencing persistent daytime hypersomnolence, and that's when you're sleepy. Daytime sleepiness, that does not improve even with sufficient sleep. A lot of people have this condition. 50%, you require the use of a breathing assistant device such as a CPAP machine. That's why I have to sleep with a CPAP machine. It helps me to sleep at night. I don't snore as much as night, and my wife loved it because I sleep like a baby and I don't wake her up, okay? So that's 50%. 100% is when you have a chronic respiratory failure with carbon monoxide retention and require a tracheostomy. I can't pronounce that word. So that means that the condition is severe, okay? And you really need an intervention from a specialty or a special doctor to actually to intervene, because a lot of people don't know, but many, I wouldn't say many, some people can have this condition so bad that some people stop breathing for time, and that could bring damage to their brain, and also some people die while they sleep because of this condition. So it's a really, really serious condition, okay? I'm gonna change my slide here for a second so I'll show you some of different stuff here. Let me put my glasses. So again, this is for the ratings again. 100% chronic respiratory failure. 50% event requires the use of a breathing assistant device such as the CPAP. That's what I talked about. 30%, the veteran is experiencing persistent daytime sleepiness, okay? And that's during the day. That's been my experience. When I had this condition really bad, during the day I was super sleepy. I was so sleepy that sometimes I had to pull over to a rest area before coming home and actually taking a nap. That's how bad it is. And I know some people, I'm talking about service members, but overall, a lot of people have this condition. A lot of people think it's because overweight, and it's not, even though could be related to overweight, but skinny people also have it. So you'll be surprised when a skinny person says they have sleep apnea. Even kids can have this condition. 30%, I talked about that, and 0%, the veteran is asymptomatic. That means he has symptoms and he has documented disorder. What do you need to actually to claim this condition? You need a diagnosis, must be confirmed by a sleep study, an event, injury, or illness that occurred during your service, and a nexus between your sleep apnea and in the service event or injury. One that I use is, and I'm going to talk about another thing about sleep apnea, it could be used as a secondary from PTSD, and that's the other one I'm going to talk about, PTSD. And it's because when you're sleeping, when you are in the service, one of the things that happened to us, we're trained to stay awake and also to see danger in different ways. What I mean is that we perceive danger in different ways because we're trained to fight. And usually at night, for us, it's hard to sleep because we're always hyper vigilant. And law enforcement too, those that can relate to this. Those that being law enforcement actually hyper vigilant because that's been your job for years and many years. And you need to understand that that's part of your training. So this condition can also be linked to PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, because of what I just told you, okay? Because it's a sleep condition, and it also can be tied into trauma that you happened while in the military, okay? This is some of the medical conditions. Let me go back to my, and then I cover this one. This has to do with PTSD, okay? Hold on a second here. Let me see, all right, here we go. So let's talk about PTSD over here. PTSD is what is known as post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a mental condition that occurs due to experiencing a traumatic event. And usually in the service, what happens is usually happen to combat veterans, but not always. And I also explained that this could happen during a training environment. The reason I said this because all service members fire a weapon except chaplains assistants. Actually, I think chaplain assistants do carry a weapon. They provide security for the chaplains. The only ones that I know they do not have a weapon is the chaplains. So it's part of the job, and you can be in a training exercise. Somebody can get shot, right? Hopefully not fatal, but this trauma can also be not in a combat environment. That's the reason I put this out there. So you can have post-traumatic stress disorder, and it doesn't have to be related to combat. This is really important for you to understand. Some of the common symptoms for PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, are intrusive thoughts. Those with PTSD may experience repeated involuntary memories, distress, dreams, or vivid flashbacks. That's a big one. Avoidance. This is some of the they feel isolated and they don't want to be around a lot of people. Okay, they don't want to do a lot of activities that could trigger memories of their trauma. I can attest to that. Okay, everybody that suffered to a trauma, sometimes they isolate themselves and they don't want to be around people. Negative thoughts and feelings. PTSD can cause to feel a person overwhelmed with negative emotions or beliefs about oneself. So they feel negative, they feel detached, and sometimes, I hate to say it, but it's a reality, is that they feel suicidal, okay? And this is some of the symptoms of PTSD. Another one is arousal and reactive symptoms. PTSD may experience, they get irritated or angry outburst. And that's another symptom of PTSD. I mean, it could be a trigger, and I give you an example, and I'm talking from my experience. Helicopter sounds can trigger. If you're involved in IED, explosions, but of course in the civilian, it's gonna be hard for you to be in an explosion, but communications to radios, okay, being in confined spaces, you know, when you're not being in combat, you're so confined that you cannot move, so that will trigger also. They call stressors and triggers. So there's a lot of stuff that can trigger that you have this condition. To qualify for PTSD, you must have a current diagnosis of PTSD by a medical professional, an in-service injury, I talked about that, or illness that led to the development of PTSD, and a medical opinion nexus linking the condition to the service. And let me change my slide so you can see how this could affect you and how could also be tied into other conditions. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Man, I got 3. That is awesome. That's what I can see here. Sometimes it's reflecting something different, but if you have any comments, please let me know. This is some of the conditions that can go around it, linked to sleep apnea for the VA benefits purposes. Asthma, anxiety, rhinitis, that's linked to PTSD. Cervical nerve conditions, toxic exposures, Parkinson's disease, depression, medication side effects, obesity, diabetes. There's tons of conditions that could be tied to PTSD. And I tell you, it's a mental state. And it's hard sometimes to explain, because unless you've been in that situation, you cannot explain to other people, which is kind of hard to explain. PTSD ratings over here, 0%. The claim examiner does not feel that symptoms are severe enough to interfere with social or occupational functioning. A lot of ratings, or the ratings of PTSD, it has to do a lot with association with social life around people, okay? 10%, the veteran has mild symptoms, PTSD, that can come and go. The PTSD symptoms may decrease efficiency at work when the veteran is under stress. So it has to do also with your stress level. 30%, veterans occasionally struggle with work and social functions. Again, social functions, they struggle. At 30%, they're struggling with coping at their jobs, with social skills, with actually talking to people in groups. 50% claims at this level show demonstrated proof of social and occupational impairment due to combat or non-combat PTSD symptoms. I talked about that. It doesn't has to be only combat, okay? 70%, the claims examiner has verified significant difficulty in most areas of life. This can include work, personal relationship, suicidal ideations, and this is an important one. Suicidal ideation is when it was a thought of commit suicide, or they probably get Baker Act. This is really serious. Okay? And more. 100%. This is the one that will give you that individual unemployability, and actually the VA will deem you that you cannot work anymore. Claimant has demonstrated that social and occupational impairment. Symptoms include ongoing delusions, gross thought process disruptions, inappropriate behavior, danger of harming themselves or others, inability to perform self-care or activities or daily living, and more. This is how serious this condition is, okay? This is how serious this condition is. Let me change my slide again here. And I'm sorry, I'm probably going a little bit fast. So this is the main thing that I want to talk about tonight. I talked about 3 conditions, 3 easing conditions that can actually help you to start building a strategy. It doesn't have to be these specific conditions. This is just an example. They're easy. This is most of the one that I've seen that I have helped veteran members with, but there's many conditions out there that you qualify for. You need to understand this. You need to see your case as unique. You need to see what conditions do you have. You need to sit down and take the time to understand your claims. I cannot emphasize this enough. You need to build a strategy. Without a strategy, you will never achieve 100%. So if you have any conditions, use them and make a strategy to start building your claims and actually to build a game plan. This is the best advice that I can give you, and this is how I can help you. A good strategy to start the process of your VA claims using the following steps. And I'm just going to give you some steps here that can help you out. If you don't know your conditions, how are you going to claim them? Number one, you need to identify your conditions. How do you do this? You do this with gathering your medical records. If you don't have your medical records, you need to request your medical records. If you don't have them, if you haven't sit down to read your medical records, how are you going to start a claim? You can have 5, 6, 7 claims and you don't even know you have them. The only reason you're going to find out you have a disability or a valid disability claim is actually going into your records. Another thing is, another step and another advice that I can give you is to review your records to see you have any conditions that you probably did not know about. You probably remember only accident, incident, but you probably don't know what you have in your medical records that you actually can get a VA disability approved. So you need to understand what do you have in your medical records. That's the reason you need your medical records, and I can help you with that. Many times the nexus is on your medical record and you probably have no knowledge of the condition. So that nexus that you're looking for is probably on your medical record. Another point and advice is to remember, point number 3, try to remember if you experience any accident or incident while in service. Go back in your memory and identify any accident or incident that happened while in service. If you were on urban status like me, remember you had a jump that you probably injured a knee, your hip. Think about every accident or incident that happened while you were on service. And point number 4, and this is how I can help you, is to seek professional help. I have achieved 100% total and permanent. I did it on my own, and I know how the system works. But the best advice that I can give you is a strategy. You can have 10 conditions. If you don't have a strategy, it's going to be hard for you to achieve 100%. I just gave you 3 easy ones to give you an example so you can start. If you have these 3 conditions, you can reach out to me and I can help you out with any claims, okay? Often service members have the proper medical documents, but they lack the motivation and knowledge to submit the claim. That's how I can help you. You could be earning thousands of dollars for your conditions. I'm gonna say this again. You could be earning thousands of dollars for your condition. Every time I get a phone call or I get a consultation appointment, the biggest thing I'm finding out is that service members are not taking the time to actually to gather the information, or they lack the energy to actually to go through the process. If you ask for my help, I'm going to do everything for you, but the only thing I'm going to need from you is to actually to do your due diligence to find the information. I can help you to get it, but you have to move also in order for this to work. I don't do the claims. I help you to build everything together, and you're the one that submitted. I'm not a BSO, like I said. I can't because I still work for the government, but I can help you out, and I have helped many service members out there. If you live in the Central Florida area, reach out. I can help you. Don't be afraid to seek help. Again, this is the time. If you want to call me, I can take phone calls before I transition to Spanish. Just send me a message and I take the phone call so I can put my headphones. The phone number is 321-710-5570. I got Amarilis Betancourt. Gracias por conectarte. Thank you for tuning in. So, again, if you want to call me, if not, put a message. If you don't have any messages for me or questions, I'm going to transition to Spanish now. It goes a little bit faster, but I do have a lot of people that I help from Puerto Rico, and it's easier for them to understand. Hey, blessings, blessings. So you don't have any question? I'm gonna transition to Spanish, okay? But that's all for you English speakers, folks. Do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Etching Space Consultation. Muy buenas noches, este es el sargento mayor retirado, El Centeno. Estaba dando un live y estaba tratando de ayudar a veteranos para su discapacidad de veteranos. Por favor, si quieren buscar más información, pueden ir a mi website, a etchingconsultation.com. etchingconsultation.com. Ahí me pueden enviar un mensaje privado. Asegúrense de ponerme su nombre, número de teléfono y también su correo electrónico y lo puedo devolver si tienen alguna pregunta. ¿En qué me estoy concentrando? Estoy ayudando con discapacidad de veteranos. Yo no estoy certificado como BSO porque todavía trabajo con el gobierno y no puedo hacerlo, pero sí te puedo ayudar. Yo lo que hago es recopilo la información, te ayudo a buscar los récords médicos y tú la sometes. También hago consultas de retiro, hago resúmenes y también tengo la estampa de notaría pública. Si vives en el área central de Florida, déjame ver y te puedo ayudar con eso. No represento a ninguna entidad del gobierno ni el ejército. Esto es un negocio de consulta y no estoy representando a nadie. Esto es basado en experiencia. Tengo 27 años trabajando con el gobierno, 25 años en la milicia. Me retiré en el 2020. Todavía trabajo con el gobierno. Me quedan 4 años contando con Dios y completamente me retiro para trabajar en la obra de Dios y para ayudar a gente, que eso es lo que me gusta hacer a mí y a mi esposa. Vamos a tocar un tema rápido, lo expliqué en inglés. A lo último, si alguien quiere llamar, me puede llamar al 321-710-5570. Estaba hablando de una estrategia de cómo empezar a ganar tus discapacidades de veterano. Voy a hablar de 3 en específico, pero hablé que no tienen que ser estas 3. Es como tener una estrategia de cómo empezar a ganar tus reclamaciones de veteranos y para llegar al 100%. Son muchos beneficios que puedes llegar. Una buena estrategia te puede llegar a obtener y recibir 100% de discapacidad de veterano, que tiene unos beneficios bastante grandes. Voy a hablar de 3 en específico. Voy a hablar de tinnitus, que tinnitus es cuando tienes zumbidos en los oídos. Voy a hablar también de sleep apnea, que esto es el apnea de dormir. Y también PTSD, que es trauma por combate. Tinnitus lo he hablado anteriormente y es el sonido de los oídos. Esta reclamación de discapacidad de veteranos se la prueban a muchos miembros del servicio porque han estado expuestos a ruido y tienes que entender cómo esta funciona. Hey Cabana, I didn't see you, brother. Thanks, brother. Te estoy viendo ahora en YouTube, mi hermano. ¿Cómo están las cosas por allá? Hace tiempo que no hablaba contigo. Estas 3 condiciones te pueden ayudar a empezar a tener una estrategia. Empecé con tinnitus, que es una condición que te chillan los oídos. Y te puedo ayudar con eso también. Esta condición usualmente solamente te dan 10%, pero es tremenda para empezar tu discapacidad. Esto es exposición a sonidos. Entonces yo digo que siempre tienes que ver qué tú hiciste o qué tipo de trabajo hiciste en el servicio y esto te puede ayudar. Hablé de infantería, de artillería, también aquellos que trabajan en helicópteros o con sonido, en ese sonido que está constantemente, pilotos de aviones, de helicópteros también, y es más fácil que tú tengas la evidencia que tienes la condición porque tienes ese tipo de trabajo. Algunos documentos que puedo utilizar para establecer que tienes esta condición es la 214. También puedes usar reportes del incidente o accidente. También puedes utilizar narrativas de medallas que te dieron, porque usualmente en la narrativa ponen lo que sucedió. Eso lo puedes poner ahí también. Y solamente la condición aprueban hasta 10%, a menos que tenga pérdida de audición. Y también esas 2 condiciones las pueden poner paralelas. En mi experiencia usualmente aprueban una. La apnea de dormir es una condición que la persona para de dormir durante la noche y constantemente se está levantando. Lo que hace esto es que la persona se levanta bien agotada, bien cansada y parece como si hubiera corrido 10 millas. Yo le digo, eso a mí me pasaba antes mucho. Gracias a Dios, con la máquina que duermo, que te da aire positivo toda la noche, entonces puede mantener la tráquea abierta y puedo dormir, y esto también ayuda a tener más energía durante el día. Por esta condición te puede dar de 0 a 100%. Las reglas de la ley que cubren esto es el CFR 38 en el código 6847. Voy a cambiar aquí la transparencia para que veamos los tipos de porcentaje que puedes tomar por esta condición. Vuelvo y les digo, esta parte es un poco más abreviada. Si tienen alguna pregunta, déjenme saber y le contesto. Esto básicamente de 0 a 100%. Déjenme ponerme perdonen. Aquí de 0% la condición es asintomática. A 30% está experiencia ya soñoliento durante el día, te sientes bien cansado. Al 50% ya necesitas asistencia de lo que se llama el CPAP machine, que es aire positivo para dormir. Y 100% básicamente que la condición está más crónica. Ok, vamos a cambiar nuevamente mi transparencia. Esa es la apnea o la condición de apnea. Lo bueno de esta condición es que también usted puede combinarla con trauma o PTSD, como se conoce, que esa es la otra condición que voy a hablar. Esta condición de apnea también puede referirse a PTSD o trauma, porque algunas veces se combinan. Estaba dando el ejemplo en inglés que a uno lo entrenan en el servicio para siempre mantenerse despierto, y algunas veces esto contribuye a esta condición, porque siempre estamos hypervigilant, lo que dice, siempre estamos alerta toda la noche. Y también imagínense ustedes levantándose toda la noche por esta condición, y entonces también tienen que estar alertas, pues no duerme. La próxima condición es lo que se conoce como PTSD en inglés, Post Traumatic Stress Disorder. Y esto es cuando sufres un evento mientras estás en el servicio. Algunos de los síntomas son sueños, lo que se llama trauma o flashback que te recuerda. No quieres estar alrededor de personas por diferentes razones. Te aísolas completamente, te sientes depresivo y algunas veces tienes hasta pensamientos de suicidio. Esta es esta condición. Y usualmente mucha gente no conoce los síntomas, pero estos son los síntomas por encima. Para cualificar para estas condiciones, también con la apnea, tienes que tener un diagnóstico de un profesional. También tienes que relacionarlo o tener un nexus que se llama con el servicio. O también pueden ayudarte un doctor a que te dé un diagnóstico que sucedió mientras estuve en servicio. Y también los compañeros que estuvieron allí contigo hacer una juramentación y ponerlo en escrito. Eso es bien importante que lo sepamos. Vamos a ver nuevamente, déjenme cambiar aquí mi lámina, perdone que vaya un poquito rápido. Hablamos de la apnea. Aquí básicamente son algunas condiciones que pueden ser relacionadas con el PTSD, que es básicamente un trauma, y hablé de diabetes, hablé de depresión, de condiciones en los nervios. Es un sinnúmero de condiciones que pueden ser relacionados con esta condición. Los ratings que te pueden dar por esta condición es de 0 a 100%. De 0% es que tienes síntomas, pero no son severos que te pueden afectar en tu diario vivir. Algunas más de estas condiciones de PTSD, de trauma, tienen que ver con socializar con personas, ¿ok? 10% tiene síntomas medianos, pero vienen y van. Al 30% ya está teniendo problemas a socializar en el trabajo o en funciones del trabajo. Al 50% está demostrando ya que tiene discapacidad o la habilidad de socializarse con personas y afecta su diario vivir. El 70% ya está aquí, que el examinador dice que el paciente tiene dificultad en muchas áreas de su vida o de su diario vivir, y esto incluye trabajo, su vida personal o relaciones personales, y también pensamientos de suicidio. 100%, esto ya cuando es crónico, si te dan 100% por esta condición, usualmente no te van a dejar trabajar más en un trabajo, y el departamento veterano va a decir que tú no puedes trabajar. Ya estos son condiciones bien grandes que llegan o agravantes que llegan a las desilusiones, están viendo alucinaciones. Su comportamiento puede ser agresivo también, puede no tan solo hacerse daño a la persona, pero también le puede hacer a otras personas daño. Esta es la severidad de esta condición que se debe tomar bien en serio. Cambiamos la lámina aquí nuevamente. Ahora vamos a hablar de una estrategia. Antes de cerrar el programa, vamos a hablar de una estrategia, porque puedes tener diferentes condiciones. Para eso miembro de servicio de Puerto Rico, la Guardia Nacional y la Reserva, o todos aquellos de habla hispana, si tienes 3 condiciones, no tienen que ser estas, pero tienes que hacer una estrategia. Y lo más que le digo a los miembros de servicio es que una cosa que les falta a los miembros de servicio que ha ayudado es que no tienen la motivación para recopilar la información médica que necesitan como prueba, o que no tienen la energía para hacerlo, o no saben cómo hacerlo, no tienen el conocimiento. Y para tener una estrategia, obviamente tienes que tener conocimiento. Pero lo primero, te voy a dar 4 pasos para empezar. El primero es que tienes que buscar tu documentación médica. Tienes que buscar tu expediente médico. Sin él no vas a saber qué condiciones tienes. Y si no lo verificas, no vas a saber que hay ahí condiciones que no las sabes. Punto número 2 que te digo que lo uses como recomendación es que revises tu documentación médica a ver si ves alguna documentación o alguna condición que no sabía. Hay muchas condiciones. Muchas veces los miembros de servicio tienen una condición y tienen la conexión con el servicio, pero ni saben que está en la documentación médica. Punto número 3 o recomendación número 3 es que trates de recordarte si tuviste un accidente o un incidente mientras estuviste en servicio. Eso se puede buscar también con reportes de incidentes, de accidentes. Hablé de eso. Si te dieron una medalla también usualmente está en la narrativa. Y el punto número 4, ¿para qué estoy yo?, es que busques ayuda profesional. No puedo enfatizar eso mejor. Tienes que buscar ayuda profesional. Estoy aquí para servirte. Si necesitas buscar tu récord médico, tu documentación médica, déjame saber. Si necesitas ayuda en hacer una estrategia, te puedo ayudar. Si vives en el área de la Central de Florida, déjame saber. Te puedo ayudar. Por favor, ven a mi página, a etchingconsultation.com. Si tienes alguna pregunta, me puedes enviar ahí un mensaje privado. Te contesto en un día o 2 rápidamente. Podemos setear también un Zoom meeting. Me puedes llamar por teléfono y podemos hacer una cita. Si nadie quiere llamarme, me pueden llamar ahora mismo al 321-710-5570. Si tienen alguna pregunta, también lo pueden hacer en el chat. Si nadie tiene nada, Cabán, yo sé que tú siempre dices algo, pero si no tienen nada, eso es todo por esta noche. No se olviden de compartir estos videos. Aquellos miembros de servicio más en Puerto Rico, la Reserva y la Guardia Nacional, estoy aquí para ayudarte. 25 años de servicio, me retiré como sargento mayor de comando. Mucha gente dice, te ves muy joven. Sí, decidí irme joven. Hice sargento mayor 21 años para los 22. Lo hice bien rápido. Mucha gente puede decir lo que ellos quieran, pero hice rango muy rápido. Lo hubiera podido hacer 10 años más. Pero ¿sabes qué? Decidí salirme por muchas razones y de eso voy a hablar más tarde. Porque en mi capacidad, lo que hago civil, me siento más activo y siento que puedo luchar más por esta nación de la manera que lo estoy haciendo en mi capacidad civil. Si no tienen más comentarios o preguntas, no se olviden de suscribirse a mi canal Etchin Espacio Consultation. Nuevamente, Etchin Espacio Consultation. Por favor, suscríbanse a mi canal en YouTube. Esto me ayuda y también les ayudo. Si no tienen nada, les doy muchas gracias nuevamente. Que se conecten conmigo. Estaremos live nuevamente la semana que viene a las 7. Estoy tratando de ver la semana que viene lo más posible. Voy a invitar a alguien. Vamos a hablar de decoraciones. Pero voy a tratar de invitar a la primera persona a ver si me sale por Zoom Meeting y nos vamos a conectar aquí. Eso va a ser un programa interesante. Si no tienen ninguna otra comentario, muy buenas noches. Dios les bendiga. De verdad, el sargento mayor de comando Ed Centeno aquí nuevamente con otro programa. Aquí para ayudarles, que pasen una bonita noche. Dios les bendiga y nos vemos nuevamente. Bye bye.